Good morning, everybody. Mark again here, Weather Channel Live. This is your Weather Channel content for today, Wednesday, August 19th. Sorry for the delay today. I actually was up late doing the other channel, as you know, my main channel, Weather Channel Plus. I went into in-depth on these invests, all these tropical waves that we are having, and I don't find any hurricane strength. I don't find anything close to it. But I'll let them tell you what they say. They are the meteorologists. After that, I'm going to show you damage and winds, and I'm going to show you the cell track and show you exactly what goes on, because this one on 97L dies out or hurts only a little. 98L, when it's going towards Florida, that's what everybody really wants to know. I want to show you that. And then the new one really just does a whip up, but it does gain power and it gets pretty strong. But I'll show you after. God bless all of you today. I hope you have a great day. I will get my schedule better. And here we go.
And this morning, all eyes are on the Atlantic as the tropical wave train has come alive. 2 invests and a pretty high chance we're going to have a third invest, too, coming off of Africa right now that could impact land over the next 5 to 10 days. We will take a deep dive into these forecasts of each one of these invests in just a moment. All right, welcome to AMHQ on this Wednesday morning. Jim, Steph, and Jen all in house to get you ready for the day ahead. One that will be scorching hot for more than 45 million across the western part of the country. I mean, what's new, right? We tell you this may last right through the end of the month. And stormy for many in the southeast as the storms come back after a couple more stable days. Some storms could even turn severe, like what we saw in Florida on Tuesday. A possible tornado striking DeLand, Florida, just south of Orlando. Watch as this box truck, right there, gets tossed by the high winds on its side. He's okay. That's the good news. Large trees uprooted and debris scattered across roads and yards. The Red Cross will be back in the area this morning to help residents whose homes were damaged by the storm. And meteorologists from the National Weather Service in Melbourne will go out and survey the damage to see if this was actually a tornado or straight line winds. So we will see. All right, storminess of course, eluding Florida again today. Looks like we're going to have some sea breeze action once again, Steph.
Yeah, we are. And so let's talk about how bad it was yesterday and some of the observations that we saw. Edgewater, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Again, this is what Jim was talking about in DeLand. The Weather Service will go out and determine, was it a tornado or was it straight line winds? Because sometimes you can have damage that looks the same in different types of event, but just for technicality. I know it doesn't matter, if you've been through it, but for technicality here, we'll determine if it's a tornado or straight line winds. St. Augustine, we had hail up to an inch, and we also had those winds all the way down to Patrick's Air Force Base up to 54 miles an hour. But as Jim mentioned, we could see them popping off again today. And there we go as we head into the afternoon hours. I-95, I-4, that drive, if you're doing it from Winter Haven to Kissimmee, Apopka, the villages all around here. We will have ample moisture, and warm moist air is more buoyant than dry air. So it's going to rise on up and it's going to squeeze on out. There's also a teeny little boundary here, and we've been dealing with a boundary throughout the south. That is going to give us some more storms because it's a lifting mechanism. And even over Florida, a little bit of a trough, so you have a front like this, right? And then when I say there's some troughiness, it's really drawn kind of like this. And so essentially this is a pre-front. So this is when a front is still getting its act together, just kind of has troughiness, but it's still lifting. So things are lifting right now. Sarasota, you guys are getting cream. Tampa, down towards Port Charlotte. Of course, Port Charlotte, memorable for Charlie that came through in 2004 as a Category 4 hurricane. Sarasota, you're seeing a lot of showers and thunderstorms, very heavy rainfall right now outside the door. And that's going to basically cover Florida here as we head into the afternoon hours. So the good news is everything is moving from southwest to northeast. So nothing's too stagnant, Jen. So, we're not, obviously you'll get some flooding, but thankfully they're moving.
Yeah, but the problem is, what if you get a couple of them and then it really adds up in your rain gauge? Across the southeast, looks good for now, but rounds of rain and storms stretching from the mid-Atlantic into the southeast. Some cities like Greensboro, Columbia, South Carolina, and Macon, Georgia. Also, you need to get ready for a soaker for the second half of the week. Flash flooding is possible with some of these downpours. Jim, we had a couple of days of dew points in the low 60s. Kind of have that little bit of pumpkin spiciness, feel to the air. We're in summer. We're we're still in summer.
We are still very much into summer, ladies and gentlemen. I've had humid November weekends, even in northern Georgia in the mountains. So trust me, we got a long way to go. But let's talk about this because we have an upper trough to our west, okay, and that is kind of sitting in this position here. It's really digging, and Steph's going to talk about how that may impact 97L coming up in just a second. But being on the east side of this means that that is the ascent area of the trough, the rising air motion of the trough. So we're going to have showers and thunderstorms possible today. Some of these will go severe. Some of them won't. Some of you won't have a drop of rain. That's why they call it summer, right? So here's the front this morning, and the dew points have really come back strong all the way up into Tennessee, for that matter. And there's some renegade showers and thunderstorms already going on this morning. Look at this action around Williamsport and Southport. This is the area that was so hard hit, obviously, by Isaias, and it is getting hammered this morning with some rainfall. Myrtle Beach getting some rain as well. Now, the model's not going to pick up on every little detail, but it kind of has this stuff in that vicinity, right? Doesn't have much in North Georgia that's going on. But here's the deal that I want you to watch is what happens during the day when we get to that convective temperature. Right there around 1, 2 o'clock, here go the storms. Boom, 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 boom. Not a lot of upper level winds. Even though we're on the east side of a trough, all the winds are on the west side of it. All right, so these aren't going to move very, very quickly. They're going to have to rain themselves out. So don't be surprised if some of you actually get a flash flood warning in all of this. So that trough, does it influence a very unorganized 97L? And what does 97L become as it moves west? Let's talk to Steph.
A lot of questions. And that trough could do a couple different things to the system. It could shear it out more, but regardless, could still pull some of its moisture up into the south. Let's first talk about what we have here. It is moving west at 17 miles an hour. And notice we do have the convection. What's going on right here? Dry air. And of course, dry air and tropical entities, they don't mix very well. And so that's one of the things that is stopping this from developing. Now, there's still an 80% chance here of development as it moves over the next 5 days as it continues west, but it's going to have trouble trying to get through this dry air. You see, there's really no center of circulation, and that is key, that our models have a really tough time until you have that center of circulation. They struggle. And that's a fact. Now, it's got the water temperatures. Check. You need them at 80 degrees or higher. We've got that here with no problem. But that dry air aloft is crushing this. Though, notice all this moisture here. This is going to try to get wrapped into it and help this system as our high pressure pushes it westbound. Jim mentioned this trough. Okay, a couple things. Now, we don't just look at the hurricane, actually, when we're trying to forecast. We look around it, because that's what influences it. So is this trough still strong? If it is, it could shear this thing apart. It could also shear it apart, but still bring its moisture up into the southeast or into Florida. Does this shrink back and give us a little window of opportunity? It absolutely could. And so this is just why we want you guys to start paying attention to this, because if it has that little window of opportunity, Jim, in the Gulf of Mexico with 80, 90 degree temperatures and little shear, it could pop and it could pop fast. But on the other end of the spectrum, if that trough is just too big and too strong, it could eat it up. Yeah, there's still so many unanswered questions, really. And we could go from having nothing as we head into the latter part of the weekend and early next week to having 2 landfalling hurricanes. I mean, either scenario is not out of the question. 98L, of course, would be the other participant in that equation. It looks like it's trying to get itself a little bit better organized on the western end of what is really kind of an east-west convergent line, all right, where the trade winds meet the southern winds coming out of the southern hemisphere. And you can certainly see as this moves on off toward the west, that 90% chance. All right, so here's that convergent line, that trough. It kind of goes northeast to southwest like this. It looks like the western end of this has the most convection right now, and it's persistent. So does that take over as we go on in time as the main low eventually? Maybe, but it's not yet. It's still very, very disorganized, okay? It, too, has to go west. Looking at the global models, neither one of them do anything with it, but they will bring impacts into the islands. There's no question about that. The big question is, do we have a tropical storm coming into the picture here, or just north of the islands, or do we have just this open wave with a lot of showers and thunderstorms? And from that point on, then it gets fun. All right, because it's still going to have to track off toward the west. Does it eventually try to develop once it gets near Cuba or past Puerto Rico? Some of the high-resolution models actually go crazy with this thing. So it's worth watching. It's that time of the year that we have to watch it. Do we have 97L already somewhere in the Gulf or just coming in, and then 98L coming in? That's why I was saying
we could have anything from a couple of open waves here in the Gulf to maybe 2 hurricanes landfalling very, very close to each other. So we have to watch this, especially this time of the year, as it moves off to the west. A lot of the guidance, again, has pretty much kind of stuck with this area. Then there's certainly some divergence that goes on. But again, guys, I caution all of you, until we have an entity, a low, both with 97L and 98L, it's very hard to get confidence in modeling this too far out. Jen, over to you.
Well, also this morning, for days now, teams from the National Weather Service have been out studying destruction from the heartland derecho. And now they found damage like you'd see with a Category 4 hurricane. Experts estimate straight line winds at 130 miles an hour in Iowa, the hardest hit state. New this morning, the president, in a brief stop in Iowa, is promising his support and additional federal dollars. 9 days after the derecho. And Cedar Rapids in full cleanup mode for the presidential visit. The White House has approved parts of a $4 billion federal disaster declaration, but not assistance to individual homeowners.
Crazy. I mean, you just feel unsecure and sad and everything combined.
The mayor of Cedar Rapids told the president just about all of the city's 50,000 homes have damage.
Adding the individual assistance component to the disaster declaration would really help so many people get those trees out of their yard and not have such a financial burden for them.
Okay, we'll take care of it, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The derecho flattened perhaps a third of Iowa's corn crop. It crumpled millions of dollars worth of farm infrastructure.
It's very possible that there's going to be a lot of them that are just going to be done. They're not going to be able to do it again.
Winds damaged almost every school in Cedar Rapids.
Schools here in Cedar Rapids were hit very hard, and many of the schools that planned to open are now going to be delayed.
We were prepared to teach students online. However, the infrastructure of Cedar Rapids is also significantly damaged.
There are some signs of normalcy returning to Cedar Rapids, but Iowans know the road to recovery will cover many miles and months.
We're tired and we're kind of exhausted from it, but we'll just keep plugging away because we're from Iowa.
At the height of the derecho 9 days ago, more than 1 million homes and businesses across the heartland lost electricity. Today, we're down. In fact, even since the last hour, we're down. We've got 28,500 customers without power. Most of the outages clustered in the Cedar Rapids area and also over towards Marshalltown. You know, another area actually dealing with some power outages with the heat is in the west, Steph.
California, where Governor Gavin Newsom is declaring a statewide emergency due to wildfires and extreme heat. Some 30 major fires are burning across California today as temperatures again head north of 100 degrees. The heat has strained the state's power grid, causing rolling blackouts. The governor's order will ensure state resources are able to respond to the dual heat and fire emergencies. And new video into the Weather Channel. You will not be able to take your eyes off this scene. A photographer driving through. Look at the fire surrounding him. Not only the fire, but the smoke. This is the LNU Lightning Complex fire that crosses Napa and Sonoma County. Evacuations are underway right now this morning. It started last night and has already burned more than 30,000 acres. And there are reports of people calling emergency services asking to get out. They need help. And you can see why. The fire's everywhere. We're going to have more information on this developing story. And Jim, you know, you see those embers flying right into the windshield. And this is why fires are one of the scariest, because the wind can pick it up and start another fire, and then you're completely surrounded, and there's literally no way to protect yourself.
So the other thing I would worry about is the tree coming down in the middle of the road.
That
you can't
and
move it. It's not like you can get out
then
and saw the thing or pick it up. So that now you're out in the middle of the fire. All right, so that would just freak me out, no question about it. And you should be freaked out because we are well underway to our fire season down through here. And it seems counterintuitive being under this hot ridge, but you're actually kind of on the west side of it. And it's a dirty ridge, so it's got moisture in it. So a lot of these fires that you see here started by lightning just over the past week. And unfortunately, we have a lot of smoke out there, which is working its way down into populated areas. I certainly think, as you look at the Sacramento radar, some of this is smoke, which is very, very dense off to the west before you get to higher elevation. But either way, acres burn with this LNU Lightning Complex fire, which is a long name, I know, but we don't have any containment with this. 32,000 acres. Steph just showed you the video. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. We've got smoke pouring into San Rafael and San Francisco into the area. People reporting smelling it as well. Livermore, and look at Redwood City. So a pretty big concentration here of smoke. Now, today, we will have more isolated showers and thunderstorms in the northern Rockies. Not good news. It's been dry there of late. And we have high fire danger all the way down across the Sierra with the wind. More of this tomorrow as it moves into the Intermountain region, unfortunately on the kind of a northern side of the high. Plenty of fires out and through here. We've already got 48 fires of 100 acres or more. Unfortunately, Jen, fire season well underway here.
Well, exactly. The heat not helping.
No.
Let's get a look at your Wednesday morning front lines and take a look at this. Impressive. Well formed. It's a waterspout twisting on Lake Ontario. But wait, there's more. The man who shot this footage off Oswego, New York, says 4 more waterspouts spun up within a 10-minute window. This one by far, though, the largest. I mean, that looks like a full-blown tornado, doesn't it? But it's over water, so it's a waterspout. The southeastern corner of Indiana getting swamped by a thunderstorm. Streets flooded in Aurora, just outside of Cincinnati, where more than an inch of rain fell. Parts of southern Indiana saw more than 2.5 inches of rain from downpours on Tuesday.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff for the Falcon 9. Go Starlink.
Yeah, there we go. SpaceX boosting another batch of mini satellites into orbit, 58 of them. They'll become part of a constellation of 800 satellites. SpaceX plans to use them to provide global broadband internet service. And you can track them, by the way. Just use your Sky Tracker. All right, an awesome sight from Europe. You guys, look at this. It is just scary. This is a fire NATO. I mean, awesome in the worst way. A dancing fire NATO here in the flames of a forest fire in northwestern Spain. Intense, rising hot air and turbulent wind conditions team up to form these fire whirls. Steph.
Well, coming up here on AMHQ.
All right. Well, thank you, Weather Channel. We appreciate y'all. And if anybody wants to know about the power outage updates, the link is in the description. They do update every 10 minutes. So God bless y'all that are still going through that, because that was one heck of a storm. So what I can do is I can all this is updated on my other channel. It really is in depth. I will be quick with this. But when this is your damaging winds, is your 10-meter winds. And at the most, you can see that when it gets by Puerto Rico, that the white is 30, low 30s. Okay, the pink is all 20s or high 20s. And I guarantee you that any of this up here on top, we need orange for the 60s, and for hurricane force, we need yellow. And this 10-meter winds, guys, this is impact. All right, so as you see this go through, you notice that you won't see that color anywhere, even right before Florida, which is people wondering, it's in the low 30s. I'm telling you, the trough tears this thing up as it goes through the Gulf and just shreds back over Florida and goes out the East Coast. All pinks, some whites, but it does spin up something towards the end, because this one on the end, this area to watch, the last invest soon to be, comes up and just spins up. I'll show you that real quick on the wind gust next. But you can see it here. It's a beautiful thing, but thank God it's out to the east, because it gets strong very quickly. Check this out. As it forms up, there it goes. Then it gets all the way up to in the 40s. So I don't know if that's going to push further west. You know, maybe a later track, it'll turn later and be somewhere up here. I'm just saying, this is the information I'm getting now. And it is going to be a tropical depression, tropical storm. There's 40. So we have to wait and see what becomes of that. Let me load up. I'll leave all the models on so you can see the tracks of everything. I want to put on the wind gusts for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. Well, better yet, let's just do the cell track. That way you can see that both of these cells go into the Gulf, and then the one goes towards Texas, curves into the Gulf and goes out towards Florida. That wind trough, okay, the wind trough that they have, that they're referring to, comes down like this. You can see it. It comes down like this and goes straight up. And here's the after effects going down, way down here. But it's real strong right here. Go back up a little bit. Now, as you see these cells move forward, look at them. This one already starts to get shredded, 97L. It already starts to get sucked and shredded by the trough happening. You can see the deep colors in it. So the people wonder if it's weakening or if it's stronger. It's looking like it's stronger, and it's tearing pretty good into that thing. It takes most of it with it. Brings a lot of storms across Florida, more than likely. 98L comes across, and then when it gets below Miami, okay, I know even the Euro model showed it did some wobbling like that. But when it gets below Miami, it gets towards Louisiana or in the Gulf, which shows that it does get a little bit of spin and growth right there, that one moment. And the whole time, 97 is getting shredded all the way across with it, okay? But this is 98, and this is the best it gets before it meets up with the trough. Now, that could change because that is more further in time. But it does get formation. It does get some strength right there. But then it gets torn up as it gets closer, and then it goes back down. So we got to wait and see if that gets strong enough. But like they say, the trough is the main thing. If it stays strong, to keep everything at bay. Okay, that's really what we need to happen. And then down below, here comes another one on the way. So we will keep updating this. I will make sure that you get these updates. I'm sorry for the longer videos, but I hope that you do enjoy the content that it has. Now what I can do is I can put it on today's weather, put it for the next 24 hours, and let you see the severe that is going on. And then there's something I want to share with you guys. All right. I'm going to give you the next 18 hours. That should load up. And then after that loads up, it'll play for you. But mostly for the south and the southeast, because y'all get some pretty nasty storms coming soon. So I hope y'all okay from all those tornadoes and the tornado warnings, which is still severe winds. I believe my buddy Chuck is in Florida. But I wanted to talk to you about Psalms 30. I shall exalt you, O Jehovah, for you have drawn me up, and you have not let my enemies rejoice over me. O Jehovah my God, I cried to you for help, and you proceeded to heal me. O Jehovah, you have brought up my soul from Sheol itself. You have kept me alive, that I should not go down into the pit. Make melody to Jehovah, all you loyal ones of his. Give thanks to his holy memorial, because being under his anger is for a moment. Being under his goodwill is for a lifetime. In the evening weeping, make time up. In the evening weeping may take up lodging, but in the morning there is a joyful cry. As for me, I have said in my ease, never shall I be made to totter. O Jehovah, in your goodness and your goodwill, you have made my mountain to stand in strength. You concealed your face. I became one that is disturbed. To you, O Jehovah, I kept calling. And Jehovah, I kept making entreaty for favor. What profit is there in my blood when I go down to the pit? Will the dust laud you? Will it tell of your trueness? Hear, O Jehovah, and show me favor. O Jehovah, prove yourself my helper. You have changed my mourning into dancing for me. You have loosened my sackcloth, and you keep me girded with rejoicing, in order that my glory may make melody to you and not keep silent. O Jehovah my God, to time indefinite I will laud you. Amen. So God bless all of you. I hope you have a great day today. It is a nice day for lots of people, but there is these storms, so you do have to watch out as you have them, okay? Now, Florida especially, because like they said, you do have more coming your way, and there they are festering up pretty late in the evening. So God bless everybody that's affected by these storms today. This is 7 p.m. tonight. They're going to be rolling in. Hope you have a great day. God bless.